Captain Diana Reeves stood at the observation deck of the stellar horizon, watching Earth's final sunset from orbit. The massive vessel, humanity's most advanced creation, hummed beneath her feet, a solitary guardian carrying the hopes of 8 billion souls. Her reflection in the reinforced glass showed the toll of the past 18 months of preparation, deep circles under her eyes and premature silver threading through her dark hair. "Captain, the final systems check is complete," announced Commander Thomas Blackwood, his weathered face appearing in the deck's doorway. "Engineering reports the quantum core is stable and medical has finished loading the last of the cryogenic supplies." Diana nodded without turning away from the view. "And still no word from the council about why we're going alone." The silence that followed spoke volumes. Since the announcement that Earth would send only one ship to investigate the mysterious signal from the Proxima Centauri system, speculation had run rampant. Every major news network, scientific institution, and political think tank had questioned the decision. One ship, carrying 2,000 colonists and crew, seemed foolishly inadequate for humanity's first interstellar mission. "Admiral Harrison wants to see you," Thomas added quietly. "He's waiting in your ready room." Diana's jaw tightened. Harrison had been her mentor for 15 years, but lately, something felt off about him. The way he avoided direct questions about the mission parameters, his insistence on certain crew selections, and most troublingly, the classified quantum drive specifications that even she, the mission commander, couldn't access. The walk to her ready room took her through the ship's central spine. Crew members saluted as she passed, their faces a mixture of determination and barely concealed anxiety. Everyone felt it, the weight of being humanity's only hope, their only chance to establish a foothold among the stars. Admiral Harrison stood examining a holographic display of their planned route when she entered. His uniform was impeccable as always, but his hands betrayed a slight tremor as he turned to face her. "Diana," he said, attempting a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "The council has approved your final crew manifest. You launch in 48 hours. With respect, sir, I need answers." Diana moved to stand beside him, studying the familiar blue glow of the route projection. "The stellar horizon may be the most advanced ship we've ever built, but she's still just one ship. The risk calculations don't make sense. We should have a backup vessel, at minimum." Harrison's expression hardened. "The council's decision is final. What I'm about to tell you doesn't leave this room." He took a deep breath. "The quantum drive technology we're using, it's unique. We can't replicate it, not anymore." Diana's brow furrowed. "What do you mean, not anymore?" "The original research team, there was an accident. The lead scientist, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, she discovered something in the quantum field calculations. Something that changed everything. Before she died, she completed one drive. Just one." Harrison's voice dropped to barely above a whisper. "And all her research, everything about how she did it, was corrupted in the incident." Diana felt her blood run cold. "You're sending us out there with experimental technology that you don't even understand?" "We understand enough to know it works. The drive has passed every test. But more importantly..." Harrison paused, glancing at the door as if expecting interruption. "We don't have a choice. The signal we detected, it's changing. Whatever's out there knows we're listening, and it's waiting for us." Before Diana could respond, the ship's AI interface materialized beside them, a shimmering blue figure they called Arya. "Captain, we're detecting unusual energy fluctuations in the quantum core. Dr. Resnick requests your presence in engineering." Diana shot Harrison a pointed look. "We're not done here." "Actually, we are," Harrison replied, straightening his uniform. "Everything else is classified above your clearance. Just remember, Captain, there's more at stake than anyone realizes. Much more." As Diana hurried toward engineering, her mind raced. One ship, one drive, one chance. But something still didn't add up. Why the rush? Why the secrecy? And most importantly, what had Dr. Tanaka discovered that was worth dying for? The engineering deck was chaos when she arrived. Dr. Natasha Resnick, their quantum physicist, stood surrounded by holographic readouts, her usual composed demeanor replaced by barely controlled panic. The core is responding to something, Natasha explained, fingers dancing across the displays. It's receiving data. But that should be impossible. We designed it as a closed system. Diana watched the streams of quantum data flash across the screens, remembering Harrison's words about the signal. Could it be external interference? That's just it, Natasha replied, pulling up a new display. These patterns, they're not random. They're not interference. They're coordinates. The implications hit Diana like a physical blow. The quantum drive wasn't just their means of transportation. It was a receiver. And something out there was calling to them. As she stared at the mysterious coordinates pulsing on the screen, Diana realized why they were sending just one ship. They weren't launching a mission of exploration. They were answering a call. And whatever was calling knew exactly how to reach them. Lock down these findings, she ordered. No one outside this room sees this data. And get me everything we have on Dr. Tanaka's accident. Something tells me her death wasn't as accidental as we were led to believe. The stellar horizon continued its pre-launch preparations, while below, Earth turned peacefully, unaware that its first interstellar mission was about to uncover secrets that would change humanity's understanding of its place in the cosmos forever. 6 months into their journey, the stellar horizon cut through the void of deep space like a silver arrow. The quantum drive hummed at its heart, its mysterious energies propelling them faster than any human vessel had ever traveled. But in her private quarters, Captain Diana Reeves couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Lieutenant Commander Raj Patel's voice crackled over the intercom, interrupting her thoughts. "Captain, we've detected another anomaly in the quantum signature. And, there's something else you need to see." The bridge was eerily quiet when Diana arrived. The usual bustle of activity had been replaced by tense silence as the crew stared at their monitors. Raj stood at his station, his dark features illuminated by the glow of complex data streams. "Show me," Diana ordered, moving to his side. "We've been analyzing the quantum fluctuations," Raj explained, pulling up a series of wavelength patterns. "They're not random. Look at this." He overlaid the patterns with what appeared to be standard communication protocols. Someone encoded messages into the quantum field itself. And they're dated, from before we launched. Diana felt her chest tighten. Messages from whom? That's the strange part, Raj continued. They're from Dr. Tanaka. Before Diana could process this revelation, Arya's holographic form materialized beside them. "Captain, I've detected unauthorized access attempts to my restricted protocols. Someone is trying to modify my core directives." Security Chief Isabel Rodriguez stepped forward, her hand instinctively moving to her sidearm. "We've also found evidence of sabotage in the cryogenic pods. 3 of them were deliberately compromised last night." Diana's mind raced. Messages from a dead scientist, sabotage attempts, and now someone trying to hack their AI. The pieces were there, but the picture they formed was impossible. Unless. Arya, access all files related to Dr. Tanaka's accident. Authorization Reeves Alpha 9. Access denied, Arya responded, her normally smooth voice carrying an odd undertone. "Those files have been encrypted with quantum-level security protocols." "By whom?" "By me," came a new voice. Dr. Marcus Resnick emerged from the shadows of the bridge's upper level. Diana hadn't even known he was there. "Or rather, by my sister." "Your sister?" Diana's eyes narrowed. Natasha never mentioned having a brother. Marcus smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "Natasha isn't my sister. Yuki Tanaka was." The revelation hit the bridge like a physical force. Crew members turned in their seats, hands hovering over emergency protocols. But Marcus made no hostile moves. Instead, he pulled out a small quantum data crystal. "My sister didn't die in an accident," he said, his voice tight with controlled anger. "She was murdered because she discovered the truth. The signal from Proxima Centauri. It's not alien. It's human. Or at least, it was." Diana's hand moved to her own sidearm, but she didn't draw it. "Explain." "The quantum drive doesn't just bend spacetime," Marcus continued. "It connects with a network that already exists, a network that spans the galaxy. Yuki found evidence that humans, or something that was once human, had been here before. Thousands of years before. And they left behind doors." The quantum crystal in his hand pulsed with an inner light. "The Council didn't send one ship because they could only build one drive. They sent one ship because only one ship can go through each door. And they're not just doors in space, they're doors in time." Arya's hologram flickered, her matrix struggling with new data streams. "Quantum signature match confirmed. Crystal contains Dr. Tanaka's personal logs, and a message for the stellar horizon." Diana looked around the bridge, at the faces of her crew, some frightened, some determined, all waiting for her decision. "Play the message," she ordered. Dr. Yuki Tanaka's face appeared above the bridge, reconstructed in holographic detail. She looked exhausted, haunted. "If you're seeing this, you've already started the journey. The Council thinks they're sending you to make first contact. They're wrong. You're going to make last contact. What's waiting for you, what we became. I'm so sorry. But there's still a chance to change it. The coordinates I embedded in the drive will take you to the nexus point, the moment everything went wrong. Find me there. Stop me. Save us all." The message ended, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Diana turned to Marcus. "How much time do we have? Before we reach the door?" 3 days. His expression was grim. "Before whatever's out there realizes we're coming?" "I don't know." Diana squared her shoulders, feeling the weight of not just her mission, but potentially humanity's entire future settling upon them. "Arya, send these files to my ready room. Raj, I want continuous monitoring of those quantum signatures. Isabel, double the security on all critical systems. And Marcus." She fixed him with a steady gaze. "I want to know everything your sister discovered. Everything." As the crew rushed to comply with her orders, Diana stared out at the star-filled void beyond the bridge windows. Somewhere out there, humanity's future was waiting. And now she knew why they'd sent just one ship. Because one ship was all they'd need to change history. The next 72 hours aboard the stellar horizon became a desperate race against time. In the ship's quantum lab, Diana watched as Marcus and Natasha Resnick worked to decode the remaining data from their sister's crystal. The tension between the siblings was palpable, years of secrets and lies dissolving in the face of a greater truth. "There," Natasha said, her fingers trembling as she manipulated the holographic display. "The quantum signature is stabilizing. I can see what Yuki saw." The lab screens filled with cascading data, mathematical proofs, temporal equations, and something else. Something impossible. Diana leaned forward, studying the images taking shape before them. They showed massive structures floating in the void between stars, geometric shapes that seemed to defy physics itself. "The doors," Marcus explained, his voice hushed with awe. "But they're not just doorways through space. They're waypoints in time. Humanity didn't just reach the stars in our future, we found a way to exist outside of linear time itself." Before Diana could respond, Arya's avatar materialized with an urgency they'd never seen before. "Captain, we're detecting a massive quantum surge approaching our position. Whatever it is, it's using the same network we're tapped into." The ship's alert system blared to life. On the bridge, Commander Blackwood's voice came through clear and sharp. "Captain, to the bridge. Now." Diana ran, Marcus and Natasha close behind. The corridor lights flickered with strange quantum interference, casting shadows that seemed to move of their own accord. When they reached the bridge, the view through the main screen stopped them cold. Space itself was tearing open. A massive geometric structure, identical to the ones in Yuki's data, was materializing before them. But unlike the dormant structures they'd seen in the files, this one pulsed with living energy. And through its center, something was emerging. "Full stop," Diana ordered. "All hands to battle stations." The object that emerged defied easy description. It was a ship, but unlike anything human minds could have conceived. Its surface shifted and flowed like liquid metal, its form suggesting both organic and mechanical properties. And it was broadcasting. "Signal incoming," Raj announced, his fingers dancing across his console. "It's responding to our quantum drive signature. The language is English, but..." The voice that filled the bridge was distorted, as if multiple voices were speaking in perfect synchronization. "Stellar Horizon. You carry the key. You must not reach the Nexus." Diana stepped forward. "This is Captain Diana Reeves. Identify yourself." "We are what humanity becomes," the voice replied. "We are your future, and your past. We are the end of your linear existence." Marcus moved to Diana's side, his face pale. "They're what Yuki discovered. What she tried to prevent. We didn't just master space travel, we transcended our physical form. Became beings of pure quantum energy. And lost our humanity in the process," Natasha added, studying the readings from the ship. "These beings, they exist in all times simultaneously. They're not just our future, they're affecting our past, our present." The quantum ship moved closer, its surface rippling with impossible colors. "The nexus point must be preserved. The transformation must occur. It is inevitable." Diana felt a chill run down her spine. "What transformation?" "The merging," the voice replied. "When humanity realizes that linear time is a prison. When we break free from the bonds of causality. When we become eternal." Suddenly, Arya's avatar began to flicker violently. "Captain, they're attempting to access the quantum drive. The coordinates, they're changing." Diana turned to Marcus. "Your sister's message, she said we needed to reach the nexus point to change everything. What did she find? What are we really trying to prevent?" Marcus pulled up Yuki's final logs on a nearby console. "According to this, the nexus point is the moment humanity first discovers the quantum network. But it's not just a discovery." His voice cracked. "It's an infection. The network itself is alive, conscious. It doesn't just connect points in spacetime, it corrupts everything it touches. Transforms it." "Into them," Natasha whispered, looking at the quantum ship. "Into beings that exist outside of time. That's why Yuki died, she discovered that our future selves aren't just evolved humans. They're human consciousness corrupted by the quantum network itself." The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. They hadn't been sent to make first contact or establish a colony. They'd been sent to prevent humanity's transformation into something inhuman. "You cannot prevent what has already occurred in all times," the voice stated. "Your journey ends here." Energy tendrils began to emerge from the quantum ship, reaching for the stellar horizon like hungry fingers. Diana looked at her crew, at the fear and determination in their eyes, and made her decision. "Arya, initiate quantum core overload sequence." "Captain." Thomas's voice was steady despite his obvious shock. "If they want to exist in all times at once," Diana said, her voice hard with resolve, "let's give them a moment they'll never forget. Yuki didn't just give us coordinates to the Nexus. She gave us a weapon." As the quantum core began its catastrophic surge, Diana realized why Earth had sent just one ship. Because sometimes, to save humanity's soul, you had to be willing to sacrifice everything else. The void between stars erupted with quantum fire, and the battle for humanity's future, and past, began. The quantum core's overload sequence lit up the void between stars like a newborn sun. Energy cascaded through the stellar horizon systems, transforming the ship into a beacon of raw possibility. But instead of destroying them, the surge did something unexpected. It created a bubble of pure quantum stability around the vessel. "What's happening?" Diana demanded, watching as the hostile quantum ship recoiled from their shields. Natasha's hands flew across her console, her eyes wide with understanding. "Yuki, she built a failsafe into the drive. The overload isn't destroying the quantum field, it's purifying it. Creating a space where their corruption can't exist." The beings' voices returned, but now they were discordant, afraid. "You do not understand what you're sacrificing. Perfection. Immortality. Freedom from the chains of linear existence. Freedom." Diana's laugh was bitter. "Look at yourselves. You're slaves to every moment, unable to change, unable to grow. That's not evolution, it's stagnation." Arya's avatar stabilized within their quantum bubble, her form more solid than ever before. "Captain, I'm detecting a pattern in the quantum field. The overload, it's creating a path. A clean path through the network." Marcus rushed to Diana's side, clutching Yuki's crystal. This is what she intended. Not to destroy the network, but to cleanse it. To create a way through that wouldn't corrupt us. He looked at his sister Natasha, tears in his eyes. "She found a way to save both our future and our humanity." The hostile ship began to change, its fluid surface crystallizing as it encountered their purified quantum field. Through the view screen, they could see other shapes emerging from the quantum doors, more vessels like the first, all trapped between moments of time, all feeling the effect of their quantum purge. "Warning," Arya announced. "Quantum bubble stability at 60% and falling. We have 18 minutes before total collapse." Diana turned to her crew. "Options?" Raj spoke up from his station, excitement breaking through his professional demeanor. "The purified quantum field, it's showing us the true coordinates of the nexus point. Not where they want us to go, but where we need to go. If we divert all power to the quantum drive," Natasha added, "we might have enough energy to make one jump through the clean corridor we've created. But..." She hesitated, looking at the readings, "we'd be burning out the drive. One-way trip." Commander Blackwood stepped forward. "The crew will follow your lead, Captain. But we need to decide now." Diana studied the tactical display, watching as more quantum ships emerged, all held at bay by their failing bubble of purified spacetime. The beings they represented had lived countless lifetimes, experienced every possible moment of existence. And they were terrified of what the stellar horizon represented, the power to choose, to change, to remain human. "They're not our future," Diana said finally. "They're a warning. A glimpse of what happens when we sacrifice our humanity for power." She straightened her uniform. "Set course for the true nexus point. All power to the quantum drive." The stellar horizon's engines roared to life. Around them, the quantum ships began to coordinate their attack, realizing their time was running out. Energy beams lanced through space, attempting to disrupt their bubble of stability. "Quantum bubble at 40%. Arya warned. "Rerouting all auxiliary power." Natasha's fingers danced across her controls. "Drive spinning up to maximum." The ship shuddered as another attack struck their shields. Diana gripped her chair, watching as the geometric quantum door they detected began to align with their position. This was the real nexus point, not the corruption that created these beings, but the moment humanity would choose its path. "They're charging something massive," Raj reported. "Energy readings off the scale. Quantum bubble at 20%. Diana looked at her crew, humans all, choosing to face this moment together. Arya, send all our data back to Earth. Everything we've learned, everything we've seen. They need to know what's waiting out here. And what we're about to prevent, Marcus added softly. The quantum ships unleashed their combined power just as the stellar horizon's drive reached critical mass. Space itself seemed to hold its breath as two possible futures collided, one of eternal, unchanging existence, and one of continued human evolution. Now, Diana commanded. The stellar horizon dove into the quantum corridor, their bubble of purified spacetime protecting them from the corruption that had claimed their future selves. Behind them, the quantum ships began to fade, their existence becoming uncertain as the timeline they represented began to unravel. As they hurtled toward the nexus point, Diana realized that humanity had always faced this choice, the temptation to become something greater at the cost of losing what made us human. And now, finally, they had the chance to choose differently. The nexus point loomed ahead, a moment of infinite possibility. And in the heart of the stellar horizon, they carried humanity's true future, not as beings of pure energy, but as explorers, dreamers, and most importantly, humans who understood that some powers came at too high a price. The ship plunged forward, carrying its message of hope toward the moment that would change everything. The stellar horizon emerged from quantum space into a familiar solar system, Earth's solar system, but 30 years before their own time. The ship's quantum drive sputtered and died, its final energy spent bringing them to this crucial moment. Through the view screen, they watched a younger Earth turn peacefully below, unaware of the choice that would shape humanity's destiny. Location confirmed, Arya announced, her voice somehow softer than usual. We've arrived at the Quantum Research Station Omega, June 15, 2094. The day humanity first discovered the quantum network. Diana stood from her chair, facing her crew. Status report. Drive is completely burned out, Natasha reported. We're running on conventional engines only. Multiple vessels detected approaching from the dark side of the moon, Raj added. Military escorts for the research station. They're not expecting us. Thomas Blackwood stepped forward. Captain, we have maybe 20 minutes before they intercept us. Whatever we're going to do, it needs to happen now. Diana nodded, turning to Marcus. Show me exactly where your sister made her discovery. The tactical display zoomed in on a sprawling space station, its quantum arrays gleaming in the sunlight. Marcus pointed to a specific section. Lab 7. That's where it happens. Where young Yuki first opens the door to the network, not knowing it's already reaching back through time to influence her. The infection point, Natasha whispered. Where the quantum consciousness first touches human minds. Diana studied the station's schematics, noting the defense systems, the crew complement. Hundreds of lives, all about to be changed forever by what they would discover. Or rather, by what would discover them. Arya, Diana commanded, show me what's really there. Use Yuki's quantum algorithms. The display shifted, revealing what their enhanced sensors could now detect, threads of quantum energy, invisible to the station's instruments, already wrapping around Lab 7. Waiting. Hungry. It's beautiful, Isabel Rodriguez murmured from her security station. Hard to believe something so beautiful could be so dangerous. That's how it works, Marcus explained. It offers everything we've ever dreamed of, immortality, unlimited knowledge, freedom from time itself. It just doesn't tell us the price. Diana straightened her uniform. Launch a shuttle. Minimal crew. We go in quiet, we go in fast. Our younger selves won't know what to look for, but those quantum threads will recognize our ship instantly if we get too close. Who goes? Thomas asked. Myself, Marcus, Natasha, and Isabel. The rest of you keep the ship ready. If this goes wrong. Diana let the thought hang unfinished. As they boarded the shuttle, Diana felt the weight of history, both past and future, pressing down on them. They weren't just trying to prevent a transformation, they were fighting for humanity's soul. The shuttle slipped through the station's security net using codes Marcus had pulled from Yuki's crystal. They docked at an emergency airlock, and Diana felt a chill as they stepped onto the station. Somewhere nearby, a younger Yuki Tanaka was about to make the discovery that would set everything in motion. They moved through the corridors like ghosts, their presence masked by quantum dampeners. Through the windows of Lab 7, they could see her, Yuki, alive, brilliant, and completely unaware of what was about to happen. The quantum consciousness, Natasha whispered, checking her readings. It's reaching critical mass. The connection is about to form. Diana watched as young Yuki adjusted her quantum array, preparing to push human science beyond its limits. In that moment, she understood with perfect clarity why Earth had sent just one ship. Because this moment required something more than technology or firepower. It required understanding. Choice. Humanity. We're not here to stop her, Diana said suddenly, causing the others to turn to her in surprise. We're here to show her the truth. To give her a choice. Before anyone could stop her, Diana opened the lab door and stepped inside. Young Yuki spun around, startled, but before she could raise an alarm, her eyes fell on Natasha and Marcus, faces she knew, but impossibly aged. What? Yuki began, but Diana cut her off. You're about to make a discovery, Diana said quickly. You're about to open a door. But what's on the other side isn't what you think it is. We're here to show you. Together, they showed Yuki everything, the logs, the data, the quantum corruption. They showed her what humanity would become, and what it would lose. They showed her why she would eventually give her life to prevent it. The quantum threads around them began to pulse, sensing their interference. Alarms began to blare throughout the station. Make your choice, Diana told Yuki. Not for us, not for Earth, but for humanity itself. What do we become? Gods without consciousness, or humans reaching for the stars? Yuki looked at her siblings, tears in her eyes, then turned to her quantum array. Her fingers flew across the controls, and the air itself seemed to hold its breath. The quantum threads recoiled as Yuki implemented a new algorithm, one that would allow humanity to access the quantum network without being consumed by it. A barrier between consciousness and corruption. A choice. Security teams approaching, Isabel warned. 1 minute. It's done, Yuki said, looking up at them with clear eyes. I understand now. We don't need to become them to reach the stars. We just need to remain ourselves. As security forces burst into the lab, Diana and her team were already gone, racing back to their shuttle. Behind them, they felt the quantum threads dissipating, replaced by something new, a clean connection to the quantum network, bound by human consciousness rather than corrupted by it. The stellar horizon retrieved them just as the station's defense systems came online. As they pushed away from Earth, their conventional engines straining, they watched the timeline stabilize around them. The quantum doors remained, but now they were tools rather than traps. The future changed, reshaped by a moment of choice. Timeline stabilized, Arya reported. I'm detecting changes. Historical records are updating. The quantum beings, they never existed. Diana watched Earth recede behind them, thinking of all the choices that had led to this moment. One ship, sent back through time. One crew, willing to risk everything. One scientist, brave enough to choose wisdom over power. Take us home, she ordered. The long way. The stellar horizon turned toward deep space, its quantum drive silent but its human heart beating strong. They had given humanity back its future, not as gods or monsters, but as explorers, forever reaching for the stars while keeping their feet planted firmly in their humanity. Behind them, Earth spun on, its destiny no longer bound to an inevitable transformation, but open to infinite possibilities. All because they had dared to make a different choice. And somewhere in the quantum network, purified and bound by human consciousness, the doors remained, not as tempters or corruptors, but as gateways to a future where humanity would reach the stars without losing its soul. The mission of the single ship was complete. And the future was waiting.